PCO had 219 complaints and 42 orders in year 24-25. So there's a lot of people who say, I would say rightly say, that PCO did not do what the law requires. If you could just very quickly, in 30 seconds or less, tell me what is driving this problem at PCO.
I do not know that I can answer that in 30 seconds. However, I will endeavor to answer it for you. The number of complaints is driven by a number of factors, including the complexity of the files and the number of access information complaints and requests that we are getting. We are currently receiving a large number of requests, and our requests have grown dramatically over the last few years, doubling over the last few years. We have also noted the complexity of the requests and the pages requested is much longer than before. When it comes to the complaints themselves, it is worth noting that our complaints are largely amongst 3 individual requesters. 78% of our complaints are from 3 requesters, and those have grown in the last few years, whereas complaints from other requesters other than those 3 have actually dropped by 50% over the last few years.
Has PCO consistently followed the law with respect to, and without exception, with respect to access to information?
PCO's access to information team makes every effort to release documents in the timelines outlined in the Act and to seek extensions when required.
So that's not a yes. And you mentioned that PCO is not going to reduce in size the number of people who deal with ATIPs. But by how many people has PCO added to their to the department over the last 10 years?
We are currently in the process of reducing the department.
With respect, sir, the question is, over the last 10 years, by a percentage or total number, how much larger was PCO? How much did it grow over the 10-year period?
I do not have those numbers with me, as we're here to talk about access to information, and we did not bring financial figures.
Well, you brought up staffing levels. So if you're bringing up staffing levels, as it relates to your ability or inability to appropriately manage requests to access information, I think it's reasonable for us to quantify how many people you've had at your disposal and working in that department, and what their priorities have been. We have seen requests or instruction now for the hurried deletion of things like instant messages, so Teams messages. And we've seen that some departments, they have individuals who are using encrypted messaging services like Signal or WhatsApp. And over the last few years, there have been many instances where access to information from as demanded by parliamentary committees haven't been met, including by PCO. And so this has a damaging effect on public trust. Would our requests aren't for decades-old records. So these are things that could be searched digitally. We're not talking about files that are in boxes in the basement. So do you require a rethink on how you're processing this? Because to date, the process doesn't appear to be working. Even when parliamentary committees are saying we need this information. It's not that it's secret, it's just that it's not forthcoming. So should you be dealing with this, in a reverse chronological order and addressing things as they, and resolving them as they come in, instead of, I think famously having told some requesters that they won't get their the information for 95 years, which would exceed the natural life of anyone old enough to make a request?
So I'll comment on a few of the things that you raised. So in terms of resources dedicated to the access to information function, which is different than the size of the department, we have grown that team. We currently have 33 full-time equivalent employees in that team, and so that has grown, and that will continue to grow as we try to address the backlog. We are looking at how we can do things differently. We have taken steps to try to be more transparent and to be more efficient. An example of that, in the past, if someone asked a question about how much did a Prime Minister's trip cost, they might get 500 pages of accounting information that they have to make sense of. Today, we actually offer to not just give them that if they want it, but to actually give them a very comprehensive spreadsheet breaking down all of the expenses by item. So we will actually create documents if it's in the interests of transparency and efficiency and giving the requester what they would like. And if the requester is amenable to that, we find that to be a very effective approach.
What's the one tool that you don't have today that would most improve PCO's ability to comply with the commissioner's orders and to comply with information or document requests from parliamentary committees?
One of the things that I know that the Treasury Board Secretariat and others are looking at is the use of artificial intelligence. If we were to have systems that had a better ability to auto redact or to auto sort documents, that would help us go through. I mentioned we have 2 million documents in our active files. If we could pare that down, if we could eliminate duplication very quickly, that would certainly help our analysts to spend their time on the actual redactions to make sure that we're doing things properly and we're giving Canadians information faster.